Hi, everyone.
Hi!
Whoa, we've got a whole thing going on here today. My name is Spencer. I am the scout over here at Fellow Traveler, and today I am joined by Claris, who is one of the minds behind Glitchhikers, The Spaces Between.
Hello!
This is your chance to vamp and advertise, right? And be like, oh, it's the best game of all time. Everyone loves it, right?
Well, I do happen to love it quite a lot. My name is Claris Cyarron. I am the co-founder and creative director at Silverstring Media. And as you say, I am one of the people who's been working to make this game a reality. It's a game that's near and dear to my heart. And yeah, I don't know if I can say it's the best game, but it's definitely one of my favorite games for sure.
Top five
and
games.
It's
Top
five games. And also, I think that it's a really unique one.
So we are here today because there's been some new developments on the Glitchhikers front, right? People can see it right here, but also now they can play it, right?
Yes, they can. There is, in fact, a free demo up on Steam right now. You can play that gives folks access to one conversation from 3 out of the 4 modes that we have in the game. It's just a little bit of a little sneak peek into each bit of the game, but it's a good representative chunk of what you will get. And also, yeah, as I said, it's free on Steam, so everyone can kind of see what this strange game is all about.
Yeah, so we're gonna play a chunk of it today called. Am I allowed to say what it's called?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a secret yet. Okay, so we're gonna play a chunk called "The Path," and this is brand new, right? Like this is brand new for this event.
Absolutely, yes. We've never revealed this mode. There's been a couple of peeks of it in our trailers, but we've never showed any live gameplay of this mode yet. So this will be the world debut for this particular journey. And then here also we've got our lovely title screen, which I'm quite partial to. I really love the music that our lead composer, Devin Vibert, did for this one. And also, it's taking small samples and snapshots from every single song in the game and kind of remixing them constantly in this ever-evolving motif of the game. So you can let this run for a long time and hear a bunch of new things fading in and out. So
I actually didn't know that. Prior to setting this up, right? I had it sat on the main menu for a while, which we should probably get off at some point, right? And show the actual game. But I didn't even notice that it was designed like that. I think that's super cool. But yeah, we should probably jump into the game and we can talk a little bit about what Glitchhikers: The Spaces Between is, right?
Absolutely.
Here, yeah. So we're at a little hub level in this.
Yes,
world.
Indeed. This is called the Stop, and it is kind of the nexus of all the different modes in the game. We've got a couple of our characters that you can chat with here, and of course we've got a lot more that you can chat with on your journeys.
All right, so I'll send us over into the path.
Path, yes. Let's do it.
We start the journey. Yeah, this is it. This is the new and fresh content right here. All right, so we've got our vintage music playing device.
Welcome to Some Awe, a meditation on wonder.
Oh.
What happens when you point a telescope at the spaces between the stars? If it's an optical telescope searching for visible light, then you will see nothing. Darkness. But if you use a radio telescope and aim it past the moon and the stars and the galaxies, right into that darkness, then you find the beginnings of the universe itself. Light from the cosmic aftermath of the Big Bang. That light's not visible. Not anymore. 13.7 billion years have stretched out those waves, from white light to microwaves. Faint, faded, but still there, still finding us after traveling since the beginning of time. a memento from the universe's childhood, given to all children who gaze beyond the stars.
So we really just jumped straight in. Oh, hold on, we got our Glitchpod out. I recognize one of those names on there.
Yes, indeed. Very good timing here. This happened to be one of the songs that I coordinated with our lovely lead composer Devin on. So, yeah, unlike the first drive, this game also features me on some of the music tracks as well. And that was a very fun and exciting process that I would love to chat a little bit more about in a bit. But let's get things situated.
We're really jumping in here. So, like, we haven't even talked about what the game is yet. We haven't. So a lot of what we're seeing today, right, is not determined by us beforehand, right? Like the music that came up, that was random, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The songs on the playlist, the episodes of the podcast that you get, as well as the hikers that you encounter, are all kind of randomly determined, based some on values and some just on random chance. And not every single hiker shows up in every single mode, but all of them show up in several modes. Some of them show up in every single one, and there's 50 conversations in all. So I have no control over what we're going to see. So we might have some world debuts of some hikers.
Oh, that's the promise of content, right? But we haven't even gotten a chance to talk about what Glitchhikers is, right? Like,
absolutely, yeah. Well, so if you want, you can take a seat at the bench for a second, and while you look around, I can tell you a little bit. So, Glitchhikers, writ large, is a game about liminal spaces. It's about journeys late at night, and also the kinds of strange mindsets that we get in. So it's, taking mundane, common spaces that we travel through all the time, late night drive, a commuter train, a moonlit park, and a abandoned airport terminal waiting for a red-eye flight. I think that these are spaces that people have a lot of familiarity with, and probably also a lot of people who are listening have at least one interesting story from being in those spaces. And that kind of experience, that liminal, strange, otherworldly experience, is absolutely what this game is about. So if you've ever taken a strange drive and had thoughts that you normally wouldn't have, listening to music on the radio that you would normally listen to, then you've experienced at least a little bit about what this game has to offer.
So this song is super good. I'm just listening, I'm like, yeah. It's like I know Glitchhikers. I love Glitchhikers. There was a previous version of Glitchhikers, right?
Yes, it was. We are now calling it the first drive. The first iteration of Glitchhikers came out in 2014. It was just about driving alone late at night. But even then, we always had this interest of capturing more than just, the road trip vibe, but really kinds of thoughts and the kind of mindset that you can get on those journeys.
Oh, we've got
the tingle of trillions of massless particles bouncing off of you. Do you detect the warmth of their energy being absorbed and transferred? When light hits a surface, some of that light bounces off into our eyes, allowing us to see the surface, its shape, its color, its polygons. But some is absorbed, its energy converted into heat. All the energy that sustains our world comes from the sun, daylight, moonlight, the gravity that formed and still guides our planet, the fuel for the plants and creatures around you, the light coming out of your screen into your eyes. Light warms. We know this. We feel it. Never more immediately than when it is gone. In an eclipse, when the moon wants the spotlight for a bit and blocks the light of the sun, it gets cold in that darkness. Even if it only blocks a little, the temperature change on the Earth is noticeable, up to 15 degrees centigrade. Light is energy. Energy is light. You produce light too. The heat you generate deep inside, radiating outwards in the infrared. You yourself are a light in the darkness.
You want to bring up the Glitchpod with Q and then press spacebar. Give it a pause.
Yeah, I realized we were talking, and then we had to learn, right?
Absolutely.
Unlocking some achievements here. Okay, so yeah, where we were, right? It's the liminal spaces, right? Because I know that like when I was young, right, I would just like go on these walks, right, just around like everyday places, but at 2 a.m., right? Which in retrospect, maybe was the best plan, but yeah, Glitchhikers is really a game sort of about those walks and those trips, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Something I want to point out is you can press E to kind of move forward always, and that will allow you to kind of steer just with your mouse look. And then when you get to a junction, there will be a light path that shows which track you're currently on, so to speak.
Yeah, I was looking at some of these earlier. So is this, as we're walking around, right, is this like a full, you can go into any sort of track you want, or?
You can go into any sort of track you want. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is...
There's a lot of different areas for the park, for sure. And there's some other cool secrets that I can show you in a little bit. But right now I'm just enjoying watching you wander around. It's pretty fun.
Which, yeah, like I'm actually a big fan of the first Glitchhikers, right? Which is part of why I'm really excited to be showing off this bit today, right? It's a really... I also played a little bit of this beforehand. Spoilers. Not a specific area, but like it feels so... I was gonna say like it feels right to just be like wandering around these spaces, and like it's a really, I think, cool sort of tone that the game strikes, right? Of just like these sorts of experiences that I think a lot of people really have in common, you know, just like, hey, I'm here in a very mundane spot by myself, just thinking about everything, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one cool thing I want to show you a bit, which is our map system. So you can navigate around to these different dots, and as you get to know the space more, you will get to know what these dots represent. But if you just pick one and then look at it for a while,
oh
now
my God.
Back away.
Back here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool.
But there's a lot of things in this game that are kind of, you discover them by kind of interacting with them, and they all work a little bit different than normal. I don't want to spoil them all, but that's one that we're quite proud of, and will hopefully make bouncing around to different areas a little bit more easy for you, Spencer.
Oh, that's super. Yeah, I like that. That's really smart. I'm not gonna geek out on the stream. We're gonna keep it very professional here. Yeah, so can you go back to these sorts of areas again, or is it just sort of like you walk through them and then you're done?
You can go back to them as many times as you want. You're back where we were just a second ago, kind of down in the depression at the center of the park, and
gotta keep my soul going.
So this one, every single journey, we not only wanted to capture a different kind of space and a different set of themes and different kinds of music, we also wanted to capture different forms of locomotion and really pair, like we did with the first drive, the kind of narrative design and construction of those modes with the way that you move through the space. So with this one, more than any other, you kind of have a lot of option about where you're moving through, which path you take, and also when you're done.
Okay, yeah. So they're not all walks, right? Like actually, I don't know which ones we're allowed to talk about yet. What are we allowed to talk about so far, Claris?
We're allowed to talk about 3 of the modes. So
Okay.
We've got the drive, the classic from first drive. We've got the commuter train, which there's a lovely Twitch video up of Tanya DePass and my business partner Lucas, who's our studio director at Silverstring, talking about the commuter train. There's the walk. And actually, if you could just stop for a second and look up to your right, get a look at that moon. Sorry, I say to the right. There we are, kind of behind you. So one cool thing that I've wanted to share for a while is
here's
that's
the
our
scoops.
full moon in the game. And for folks who are familiar with Glitchhikers, might know that our moon likes to do some pretty strange, surreal things. Our moon definitely does some surreal, strange things, but its base behavior is modeled off of what the moon is actually doing in the sky, outside your window, not in the game. So
No way.
if it's a cool full moon in the game, well then y'all might want to go check out the full moon. It's not exactly perfectly accurate. You probably don't want to navigate space or an ocean with it, but if you're just trying to see if the moon is going to be nice to see, then yeah, for sure. And I've definitely used it as we've been testing it to, I'll see that the moon is doing something cool in Glitchhikers, and I'll be like, I should go outside and look at the stars for a minute.
That's really, there's a lot of just small details that y'all have added into this game that are really cool. Oh my god, yeah, I'm probably gonna spend a lot of time just looking at stuff in this game.
I mean, that's kind of the point to some extent. Looking at stuff, considering one's place in the universe, and of course also we're gonna find some lovely hikers to chat with in a little bit.
Yeah, so we
but
saw
don't be
somebody
afraid
at the
of that space behind you. You can pass right through it if you would like.
The rainbow door?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I didn't know if it was gonna I don't know, send me to the moon or something. There's always something.
No.
Always something going on in this game.
Generally, there's no situations where you can't take something back. If you wanted to, you could go right back through the door and say never mind. There's not a lot of irreversible decisions in this game, which we really like. And I will admit to being a little bit embarrassed when you were saying that Glitchhikers is a great game. I do think it's a fantastic game, but I have to say, in all honesty, Glitchhikers is a game that's doing something really important to me, and it is doing something that I think is really valuable in games, which is just first and foremost holding space for its players. A lot of games offer a space for regeneration, for escape, a place for us to kind of restore ourselves or hide from a world that might get a little too real or too hard. Games are great at that, and of course we hope that Glitchhikers is good at that as well. But I will say that kind of top goal of this game is just to meet the player where they are and hold space for them.
Yeah, and I think that one of the ways that, in talking to you about this before we went live, right, is going to be through the conversations with the other hikers, which we ran into one at the beginning who I just sort of walked past, right, because I wanted to talk some more, but yeah. So
you're heading back to them right now if you want to keep going that way.
Yeah, so the hikers, right, are the sort of, where am I? I'm down here. Okay, we've looped around, so we're good. So the hikers are the characters of this game, right? The people that you meet in your sort of late night travels through strange spaces. And do you maybe want to talk a little more about the hikers?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, to some extent, and there's another one right there. To some extent, they are the lifeblood of the game. A lot of the game is still about meeting these strange creatures and chatting with them. They each have their own esoteric topics they want to talk about. But one thing that I think people will really enjoy that we didn't have in the first drive is ability to, that's one thing that can happen. If you kind of are getting stuck in the center of an intersection, kind of back out of it, and then wait until the line comes back up, and then
I'm already breaking the game. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The tendency to
there we go.
To stop and look and observe is strong in this one for sure.
So the Glitchhikers, yeah.
The Glitchhikers, yes. So we, one thing that we're really excited to be able to let people do is get to know hikers across multiple conversations. So we have our hikers showing up multiple times, different journeys, so you can get a sense of more the kind of person or entity that they are, what kinds of things they're interested in, across multiple conversations.
And so this one's
a
painter, and the other one down there was a bunch of shards that made a heart, right? Like, so these can get wild, right? They're not.
They can indeed.
All right. Well, let's talk to this artist here. So none of them have official names, right? They're all hikers.
Yes.
All right.
We made the decision, as a creative decision as a team, to not give our hikers any official names, and rather they have official numbers that we've kind of referred to them as. And that's just like for our back-end purposes. But we're really excited to see how players respond to them, what names players give to them. And ultimately, we didn't want to guide people's initial reactions to a hiker based on their name, and rather just let them see what they kind of make of the hiker, how they look, how they speak, what they're talking about, and make their own decisions.
That's super cool, and I kind of want to ask how many hikers there are, but I don't know if we're ready for that yet. Are we
Well,
saying?
I can say that there's 50 in-journey conversations.
Okay.
And there's probably more conversations than that. There's definitely more conversations than that. Like, as far as hikers go, depending on how you want to count it, there are as few as 16 and as many as 20.
Okay. So we've got options. And now sort of this is outside of the walking portion of the game, right? The exploring portion of the game, right? This is going to be a lot of the meat of the experience, right? Is getting to know the hikers and putting some of yourself into the conversations, right? Like I see here we've got 4 different dialogue options for this. And
Yeah,
so,
we've got our wonderful hiker who's out for a late night stroll and decides that might as well paint the park. So we are, and people who've played the first drive might recognize this character as a returning character from the original game. And hopefully people will really enjoy getting to see different sides of these kind of classic characters.
And so you've said that the conversations sort of follow you throughout your journey through Glitchhikers, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you have like any sort of I guess example of like what this can mean for players?
Yeah, well, I think that some hikers, like this one, when the first journey that a new player will experience will feature this character. Which is kind of a muse role within the game. And so she is someone you'll meet often and kind of helps contextualize each experience as being a bit different in tone and intention. And other hikers you have to meet in a particular order. So only by having a particular conversation with them can they kind of move on with their own journey. Others are kind of moving through time and space in ways that might be quite novel to us humans who exist in time linearly and only at one point. So I think that there will be some exciting new fantasy and science fiction angles for people as well.
Yeah, we haven't really run into too much of it on the stream here today, right? But the game gets weird, right? Like
This game does get weird, yes.
Like so far it's just been, us walking around in a park at night, right? And like here's a painter, but like as we sort of saw with the other hiker that we ran into, it can get a little strange, a little surreal, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and so part of it is that this game has a lot of like generated elements. So like we haven't run into a lot of the weirder stuff in this little chunk, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure as we kind of wander further afield, we'll continue to find some stranger creatures, for sure.
And there's some strange stuff in here, right? Like I was never
of course,
a child.
I was never a child, so...
Like, okay, hold on. And I think
I
that
know.
really lends to the sort of feeling of like walking, at night, or like riding a bus at night, or riding a train at night, right? Or like any of these sorts of spaces at familiar spaces in different circumstances, right? Is like you'll see somebody off in the distance, and actually, I can.
Well, so this is a thing that I would love to talk about, which is
yes. Yeah, let's jump into this.
Absolutely. So every single conversation, no matter which one you're in, you always have the ability to just stop, to throw up some boundaries, and to say, "Hey, I can't talk about this right now." The hikers will always understand. They'll never take it personally, and also your playthrough won't be messed up. Like, you will still progress as if you met that hiker. Also, once you meet a hiker in a mode, once you've had a conversation in that mode, you can have that conversation again. So it's not like a one-time only opportunity. So again, there's not any irreversible decisions here. But if you need to run and gotta quit the game right now, or if you are just feeling like, whatever reason, whether the topics get a little heavy, hit a little close to home, or you're just not feeling it in that moment, you can always step away.
Yeah, so we can back up here from our painting friend, because yep.
I think I can have this conversation right now. Can we stop? Sometimes silence is the better companion on these journeys. Be safe, my friend.
And so that actually brings up a really good point, right? Like this game goes some places, right?
Yes.
Actually, I'm gonna
yes, it does.
Do some teleporting.
It is our intention to, not shy away from topics that can be intense, that can be hard to deal with. Like, this game is a lot about existentialism, how everybody reconciles their small little place in this universe differently. And how there's really no wrong answer to how people make sense of their life and their journey.
Oh, we found another friend.
Yeah, for sure. So with this one, let's talk a bit about the conversation as we go through it with
Yeah, let's go for it. So we have another hiker again. Secret. No official names, just secrets.
Shall I read the hiker and you can read the player's parts?
Absolutely.
You ever think about what comes next?
I want to wander for a while.
There's a lot to see, to take in. Letting your mind wander, you find new truths, new paths, new questions, new mysteries of yourself. I mean, after all of this life on this world, your neurons stop firing and your heart stops beating. We all experience it. People around us dying, loved ones lost to tragedy or time. Millions around the world to plague, war, famine. Death comes for us eventually, too. Sometimes far too soon. It's the big question, isn't it? Is there life after death? Is there anything beyond this universe? I look up at the night sky, and there is infinity beyond it. I ask her if there's anything beyond infinity. And she says... She shrugs. She doesn't know either. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with there's just what we leave behind.
I like that answer. We all do leave something behind. People who will miss us, things we've made, the lives that we've improved or changed. Maybe what we experience after death isn't important. Like an apple that rots away after an ice storm, leaving a perfect crystalline ghost behind it, called the ghost apple. We leave an impression on the world long after we're gone. The tree told me their stories, the ghost apples. Each one had a life, had a destiny, made an impact. Beauty, sustenance, new life. The world changes because we were in it, even after we're gone.
It's the circle of life.
The circle of life. Death leads to new life, nutrients and energy recycled endlessly. But our lives are more than just a drop in the bucket of an ecological cycle. Our lives mean something. And I think this is something that we'll see with our hikers, if I can kind of go out of character for a second, is that each hiker has a perspective. they have an opinion on the subject that they're talking about. They always, again, as I say, the point of this game is to hold space for you, the player. They're never like trying desperately to convince you of a thing, and they won't hear it otherwise. But some of them might come on a little stronger than others. They all have their own perspective, and they're excited to share it as well as hear what you think. So the hiker says, our lives touch the lives of everyone we encounter. Every step we take on our path alters the paths of those around us, even in small ways, and often in big ones. Who do you love? Who loves you? How many people's lives would be completely different without you in them? That's truly our only legacy after death. How much love did we create in this world? How much wonder? How much beauty? How much kindness? Did you make the world a better place, even for just one person? Who will remain when you go? Who do you leave behind? And who will tell your story?
I just want to create kindness.
Humble legacy, but perhaps the most important one. Bring some light to the world, leave it a bit better place than you found it. We need more of that, I think. I also agree. I asked the night sky what she believes. She sees stars form and die, new stars born in their wake. She doesn't know what to believe. She just sees infinity, death and new life, and death once more. No matter what you believe will happen, you die. What do you hope will happen?
Whoa, now I'm like exposing myself a little bit to the streamer. I'm like, okay, hold on, like this is getting real.
It's a good thing I showed the ejector seat option. You can always back off
It's true,
conversations.
you can. Whoa. Yeah, I think I want to find some peace after a tumultuous life.
Maybe peace in an afterlife. Maybe peace in oblivion. Wonder if we can find some peace in our lifetimes too.
I'd like to.
Maybe that's all we can hope for.
Yeah, this hiker and we're like, and that's the
There you
channel
go.
with our friend here.
Indeed.
So this is a game like we at Fellow Traveler, right? Like we are very interested in narratives, right? And games that like push narratives in new and interesting directions, and from like new and interesting teams. And there's a lot that we just sort of like acted our way through, right? There's a lot going on there, right? This is a game that it seems to me is not just about the game itself, but also like the person playing the game and sort of where you go after you close the game. Do you think that's fair?
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. And I mean, partly, we're also, as Silverstring, very interested in narrative and narrative design. That's how we got, my business partner and I, how we got into this industry. And we've always wanted to craft this game with a lot of space for the players to take their own spin on things and to leave enough space to where things are ambiguous and how the player is responding, what their mindset is, what their background, their context, their history is, can wildly change a conversation, its meaning and experience. But also, one of the things that I like about this game, as introverted and chill, almost like non-mechanical this game can be in certain places, it's also really fun to play with other people. I really enjoy playing this game with some friends and just sitting around and chatting about what do you think? What do you think? Having putting it to the group about which of the choices should we choose, and kind of having a group discussion can be really fun too. And I think that in that way as well, that kind of context and who is playing the game and in what way really changes how the game works. And then you add to that the fact that there's a lot of random chance and selection that's going on in terms of the music, the podcasts, the hikers, the content that you can encounter.
Which reminds me that we should play some more music here.
Oh, hey, it's another one of mine.
Yeah, right? Wait, hold on, go back. There we go.
This is a good one too.
I skipped off of yours. Oops.
No worries.
Forgive me.
All good.
yeah, this seems like I guess in talking about like creating a space for players, right, and sort of the players themselves is like a part of the game, right? Can you see all of this game, right? Is that possible?
Like, can you 100% this game?
Sure, let's go to a spot with some less music.
Absolutely.
Less
this one doesn't have any lyrics, so.
Okay, yeah, so perfect for while we talk. Also, it's 20 yours. Yeah, so like we've talked a lot about the sort of the generated parts of this game, right? Like the different hikers can show up or not show up, right? Well, I guess you said it's not possible to miss anything, right?
Yeah, it's not possible to miss things, though. To some extent, like, after you've seen everything and, oh, what are these strange things that are growing out of the ground?
Yeah,
What a peculiar experience.
I just turned around, I'm like, hold on, those weren't there a second ago.
And definitely I'm not going to be explaining how the game works fully, but I will say that, like, once you've seen everything and kind of all things are equal, it really will depend on there's only one way out of this one.
I got
to the right.
Got too excited. All right.
But there are different ways to kind of enter this space too.
Okay.
But I'll just say that, like, you know, how you respond, what kinds of conversations you have earlier in a mode can absolutely shape what happens later in a mode. Depends on the kind of journey. Some are kind of shaped all at the beginning, others are shaped throughout. Definitely the kinds of choices that you're making within a play session, as well as globally, are also impacting the game in subtle ways, and in some ways very directly. So,
which all sort of contributes to the like dreaminess of the whole game.
Yeah. So, like, we expect that it would be fairly easy for players who wanted to 100% the game to 100% the game without too much effort banging their head against the wall. But after that point, it kind of becomes like trying to 100% a tarot deck. It's like you're up to the luck of the draw, and I mean, I'm not about to say that, like, also that's a bit like wrong-headed way to approach it. I love the idea of trying to like speedrun tarot. Like, if you have a speedrunning like tarot like plan out there, listener, like, I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, what is the world record on speedrunning a tarot deck?
But yeah, like, as far as kind of something that is partially a game, partially a tool, and partially something else, something a bit kind of spiritual or ephemeral. Experience, yes. One of my favorite things about this mode is the ability for you to look out and see other parts of the world.
So these spots out here, these are related to the rest of the sort of game, right? Like there's...
Yeah, so like if you, going back out on the overpass, if you look to your left at City, is this city that's at the end of the drive mode.
Ah, okay, so we're now inside of the shared Glitchhikers universe.
And over there, behind you, that kind of disappearing off in the distance near your cursor is the train that you can ride.
I thought that might be the case.
Yeah.
I also love the blink, just like, because you're sleepy, right? It's late at night, and you're out strolling. I don't even know what's down here. Like, that's part of the fun of this, is that, like, I haven't gotten to play this. I'm just walking around the park, right? Like, I'm getting the sort of first player experience out of this, right?
Absolutely. It's really fun for me to watch you play this live and kind of just see where your interest is taking you.
And I'm sure it's not frustrating at all as I, like, walk back and forth across the same path, like, 4 times, because that's just who I am.
I mean, not really. Unless it's frustrating for you, it's not at all a problem for me. Like, I really am enjoying the fact that, like, you're able to kind of wander around and you're spending so much time looking at the stars and at the sky.
Oh, so we are...
The edges of the atmosphere lies the incredible vastness.
Hold on. Yeah, so we're running pretty close to the edge of the map, right? Like I believe this is.
Yes.
So this right
So
here
you
is
could
a
end
way
your
we
journey
can-
right here if you wanted.
We can skedaddle, and it's totally player driven when the section ends, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So we could just teleport back into the middle of the map and keep strolling, right?
If you would like, absolutely could.
We could, but I reckon it might be time for us to start wrapping this one up. Don't want to show off too much of the game, right?
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, so where can people find out more about Glitchhikers?
Well, definitely the place to look would be glitchhikers.com. Also, find us on Steam, is where our free demo is. Please wishlist us if you're interested. That would mean a lot to us as the devs. That's kind of something that's really important to us at this stage. And also, if you're interested in buying the game on Mac and PC somewhere else, you're more than welcome to. It's going to be it is up already on itch.io, GOG, and a bunch of those other platforms as well. So, and we'll have other announcements about other places you can play the game coming soon, but I can't say any more right now.
What could that mean? So that is the thing. Do we have a sort of idea of like when-ish people might be able to get their hands on this one?
When-ish, yes, absolutely. I would say like early first half of next year for sure.
Okay, at some point in the future.
And we'll have more information coming soon. People won't have to wait too long before they hear more.
Okay, so that's glitchhikers.com.
Glitchhikers.com.
Check the game out. You can wishlist it, right, which is great. It'll let you know that it'll be there for you whenever it comes out. Get that notification. And you can also check out the demo that is live right now. That's not what we played today, right? That's a different.
No, that's not what you played today. The demo only has a few hikers, unlike the full game where there's like kind of a tarot deck that's shuffling and deciding kind of what content comes up. We've predetermined the content that you can encounter in the demo, and it's the same always. So, unlike the full game, the demo is kind of a one time through, but absolutely the game will be the kind that rewards multiple playthroughs. If you're somebody
like a curated sampler of what you sort of get with the full experience.
Absolutely.
Right?
And if you're somebody who's like, look, the driving and the train, that was cool and all, but only now that like we've got this walking sim, like walk in the park, now I'm interested. Well, there's still plenty for you to see. It's not going to be like the same 3 or 6 hikers are always showing up. There's much more than that. You will be encountering new hikers for quite some time, even if you only have one standout favorite mode. But we're hopeful that people will find something that they really love in every single one of them, and that also find that they're all quite different from each other.
I mean, so far I've gotten to play a few of them behind the scenes. Don't tell anybody. And I really like all of them. Like I think that they're all different modes, right? But they have the same sort of like vibe and energy of that kind of thing. So if this is appealing to you, what you've seen today, I'm not talking directly to the people. If this is appealing to you, make sure you keep your eyes out for Glitchhikers. The Spaces Between coming soon, one day soon. But yeah, I think it might be time to click this thing and end our journey.
Thanks for listening to Some Awe. This program was made possible by grant funding for the arts and through the support of listeners like you. Think back to that invisible light from the Big Bang, redshifted far beyond red. The cosmic background radiation. Ancient photons, electromagnetic refugees fleeing from the moments when the very first atoms came to be. When the universe had cooled and spread enough for there to be disparity. Where there had been oneness, now there was matter and void. Now there was separation. Now there was light, and there was darkness.
I gotta say, like, the view we got of some of the other areas of the park couldn't have worked out better in our favor. I feel like we saw areas that we didn't walk through, and
this one already.
Very cool. I love it when the game randomly generates stuff. It's just perfect.
So, yeah, I didn't know that was generated, but that's super cool. So yeah, thank you so much, Claris, for hanging out and talking today. I really appreciate it. Yeah, do you have anything else you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Thank you all for your support. It's a real pleasure to work on this game. It's a real pleasure to make this space for you. I hope that in the demo you have a good journey. Hopefully it gives you some space as you come down or steel yourself for the holidays, whatever they might be. And also that you find what you're looking for out there.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. And make sure you check the game out, the demo, wishlisted, and we will see y'all later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.